Welcome back. We're back, Halligans. We're doing this once again. This is the second part of Dune 2. The second in the whole series we were doing here with Dune.
The Dune-ining.
The Dune-ining. He just made that up, right? I bet you didn't even know that he... That's how good we are.
That's how creative I could...
The juices are
totally
flowing.
direct the Eternals 2.
Absolutely.
And I'm 100% sure I'd do better than whatever they did before.
You could not do worse.
God.
I believe in you. So there is a scene. We had mentioned about Gurney coming back. Some good things going on there. But one of the things that happens when he comes back is apparently you find out that all the houses, the great houses, all have a nuclear arsenal.
Yes.
And
Family atomics.
Family atomics. Yes, what a great... I love the way they put that. That was actually great. The family atomics.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, what a good band name.
Oh,
the Family Atomics.
That's actually fantastic. But there's a scene where Paul and Chani are talking. And this is before Paul goes south. And I'm trying to remember in the movie what takes place to force him to go south. Something, another vision, potentially?
Yeah, I think it's a vision. It's definitely... It's related to like one of his dreams or one of his nightmares or something like that, but they know that they need to go south because that's where this conference is going to be. And so he has to be there either way, either to be like, I'm not him, or to take the reins.
Yeah.
And he winds up taking the reins.
But there's a scene right after Gurney shows him where the atomics are. They go there and he's seeing this and he's like, Johnny's very skeptical the whole time, which... I'm bringing her up again, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about this. What do you think of her as an actress? Like,
I don't know, man.
I really did not like her as Mary Jane, even though I felt what she was as Mary Jane in Spider-Man. It was the character I saw her portraying as a high school. I'm better than not like even in an arrogant way, but just. I'm not into the shit you're into. I'm off doing my own thing. One of my daughters is like that. She can just go off by herself and be felt like, I don't need to. Oh, you're doing something that I don't. Okay, bye. I don't want to. And can just. And so that fit her in the character, but I didn't know, is that her or is that the character? She was scowl face. Like, that's it. That's all. The only emo she had the entire movie was scowl face. Not quite.
She was very serious because I think it was supposed to be that she was worried about what's happening with Paul. Like, she starts to like him, and then she's trying to help him through some of his trials and stuff, and she's concerned about that, but then she's also just worried about, like, oh, everybody thinks my boyfriend's this messiah figure, and we both know he's not, and now he's gonna go say that he actually is.
Yeah, not only going to say that he actually is, but now he has this vast power behind him.
Yeah.
Like, serious business now.
Yeah, serious. And Family Atomics,
right?
Which it's more like some of the tech is just so fascinating, and the world is so fascinating. Like, do they not build nukes anymore? Is it only the houses that are allowed to have them? How old are they? Are they like thousands of years old? Has the radioactive material decayed? Is that a thing? Or are they like maintained and replenished every once in a while? Because it sounds like they're just locked away.
Yep.
It's like a rich family that has a pair of dueling pistols, and it's like, whoa, where can we get the family pistols that haven't been out in 500 years?
Right.
Because I heard a window break downstairs, and they've got like a fucking flintlock while somebody's like burgling the change cup by their back door. Is it that? And then when they use them, they immediately rush into the area where the explosion happened. So is the radiation not an issue? And a lot of this, you can just be like, oh, modern technology in their time. Like, way in the future, they figured out the radiation issue. It's not so much of a thing.
Yeah, I mean...
Whatever. It's kind of like Star Trek. Like, they'll be exposed to radiation, and as long as it's not too much, there's like some little treatment that they go through or whatever. Like, they're just sort of detoxed or deradiated or cleansed or whatever. But yeah, it's super interesting that they have Family Atomics. I love that.
As far as her character goes, like, so many of the characters in here, even though you don't get much time with them, whether it's Duncan or Gurney, or some of these other ones.
But you were asking what I thought of Zendaya.
Yeah, so I I wanted to like her character more, but I think one of the things that made it so I didn't feel that way about her was they didn't give her enough moments where she got to be soft.
Yeah.
Where you got to see a little bit of the feminine of her come out, because like they're not shying away from the fact that Paul is the one.
Yeah,
He's Neo. Neo is going to do Neo things.
Yeah, there's the scene of them in the tent together, and that's about it. Like where they seem like a couple. Other than that, yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of moments where she gets to be very feminine or whatever.
Yeah, there was another one where when he's out on his walk to prove himself. I think it's out on that walk, or another time where she's just out with him in the sand, and she's like showing him something on one of their condensers or something that collects water, and here's how you do this.
Yeah, and she's like, stop looking at me like that.
Right, because he's
watching.
He's
her.
like glazed over, and he's not it's meant to be. It's like an obvious. He's not paying any attention to what she's saying.
Yeah, like
he's just like enamored.
Goes away.
Mm-hmm. He's just this young man enamored with this girl who he likes.
As an actress, the only things I've really seen her in that I can recall are these, the Spider-Man movies, and I'm certain she was in The Greatest Showman.
Yes, she was.
That was hard for me to remember.
Yes.
She's like, what's his name? Zac Efron's love interest, which is
something
fucking weird because he's like 40. She was like 19 or 20 in that, and he was like late 30s, early 40s, and it's so strange. It's real weird. Maybe it's not as obvious to other people. Maybe I was like just the right age where I saw that to be like, something right here. I don't know what that is, but I don't like it. But I really liked her in. For some reason, was it Far From Home? No Way Home?
I don't know.
One's the one where he's Night Monkey or whatever, like where he's overseas, and they're like, well, we don't want it to be Spider-Man because we don't want people to connect the fact that, Peter Parker's always around when Spider-Man.
Is that
around.
the Mysterio one? Is that one?
I might.
I thought it was.
It might.
It was that one.
Then that would be
Night Monkey.
No Way.
Is that actually what they called it? Am I right? Is that right? Did they actually called it that?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
that's what he calls that version. It's like,
it's so dumb.
When she's in that, I kind of was like, I was really invested in that movie. I was like, I felt everything that I was supposed to feel. Like I was really empathetic with Peter. Like it just hit me exactly the way it was supposed to, because it's an experience that most of us have had, like having a crush on a girl and just like that simple.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to just, I gotta go save the world and like fight this monster thing that keeps appearing, and I'm on this field trip and I want to make sure that I get the right seat on the bus, either by my buddy Ned or next to MJ or whatever. Like I get all that, but that's because it hit me in the right way. And I don't know that it's really necessarily because of her. I'm not sure. Like she had like she was kind of awkward and nerdy in a way that reminded me of people I actually knew in high school, but I don't know if she's actually good or not, or if she's just heavily pushed by, the machinations of Hollywood. Yeah. Like they've been trying to do with
Mr. Touchy Feely.
Yeah, with Pedro Pascal, or
Mr. I have anxiety around your hot wife and not around my frumpy co-star.
I feel like there's a couple other people that they've tried to push like that, but I can't think of. Oh, Rachel Zegler and Brie Larson.
I mean, to an extent, those two, I'd say. But I feel bad in so much as every other character in this I enjoyed so much. Especially, we haven't even yet, so far in this Dune 2 part, talked about my favorite character in this movie, which is Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen. He's another potential that the Bene Gesserit have that could slide, instead of Paul Atreides, into being the one, that it could be him. Like he's another one of those house lines that they've been interbreeding.
Yep.
And
they do the box thing with him. They have him impregnate one of the other Bene Gesserit girls. So
yeah, they figure out a way to control him is through sex. Like that's what they're going to do. And they make it known that these ladies are just, they understand where their power lies, what they can do, what they can't do. Like there's not going to be a scene later on in any of these movies where they're like arm wrestling a guy and just beating up and nothing. We're not going to see stuff like that.
I was watching one of the pitch meetings for some of the John Wick movies.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where they're in that mirror maze in the
Number 2.
second movie,
Yeah.
and he's fighting dudes who are a little bit bigger than him and managing to overpower them, and then he fights Ruby Rose, who's like 90 pounds lighter than him, and
At
it's
least.
still a contest.
Like at least 90 pounds lighter than him. Oh, she's tiny.
She's so tiny.
so small.
Like, she has a cool look. I buy her as an assassin. I don't buy her as a hand-to-hand combatant that can go toe-to-toe with somebody who's like twice her size.
Nope.
I buy her
Because
as a
it doesn't,
sniper.
like-
I buy her as like a skilled whatever, but the Bene Gesserit definitely have like a red room
Mm-hmm.
or whatever where they're training their widows.
So one thing we haven't talked about yet in this, and we just brought up Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen, how he could be another one, but I think you said you looked up whatever that actor's name was, and I didn't recognize him. I think he's a British actor
Yeah.
who I recognized from nothing. Didn't matter. He was fantastic. Just
Well,
he's like this psycho evil. There's some crazy. There's like this weird, like the Gimp suit character from Pulp Fiction. There's like a weird spider version, half spider version.
Yes. And
creature.
the Bene Gesserit like wants it out of the room when they're talking, and then they put down the cone of silence from Get Smart.
Yeah, the Harkonnen guy's like, oh, it can be there. It doesn't understand our language, and the Bene Gesserit just uses the voice, "Get out," and it's just creepy, and like it was one of those moments in this movie, like so many good small moments that set the world, that really make it
He's
feel
American.
like it's
he's not British.
Oh, is that who it is?
Yeah.
Seriously, that's the guy who's going to be in that movie that's upcoming that we saw the preview for.
Austin Butler. He's going to be in Elvis and Caught Stealing.
Caught Stealing, I
Yeah.
think is what it's called. It looks, that we're Halligan's. We were totally going to be doing Caught Stealing. It looks
dude, he was in
fantastic.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think he was one of the hippies on the old set. God, yeah, it's so
Yep.
weird. But yeah, he
Was he the one that had the dumb name?
I
He was like
think
Rex
so.
or Dex. That's it. That scene, I was
think
not
that
a big
was him.
fan of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Oh my
except
God.
for that scene.
It's so good.
It's so long. It's so much
It's so
longer than
long,
it needs
but
to
I
be.
enjoyed a lot of the cinematography.
There's a
the
lot of it that
music.
it's actually very good, but the end of it makes all of watching all of it
is
worth
so-
it. So worth it.
So him like
It pays off in such a phenomenal way. But we have been introduced to this new character. It's very good at building this world with the Harkonnens, kind of people they are, and this particular one is capable.
mhm.
You find out that
Yeah, at first he's doing a gladiator thing. It's his birthday, and so he's fighting like captured Atreides people, and a lot of they're drugged for the most
Mhm.
part. But then, and so it's like, okay, this guy's just an asshole killing drugged people for
Right.
sport. But then one of them is not. One of them like has his wits about him. He's still been in prison, so he's like not in great shape.
yeah, right. But they have already laid the groundwork for the House Atreides people are some of the finest fighters
Right.
out there. So
And-
they're in it of themselves in a combat situation are a problem.
And he manages to and Fade wins. And he's like, I think he says like good fight or something
He
like
does.
that. Or
Like one of the things the Bene Gesserit mentioned about him is that he's this and he's cruel and but he's honorable.
yeah, he like respects when somebody puts up a good fight, and then he goes to see his uncle, Baron Victor Harkonnen.
Yes, dude.
And he's like, you sent that one out there not encumbered, like I could have been killed. Why shouldn't I kill you right now?
Like, it was
And
your
Baron's
birthday-
like, basically,
your birthday present.
because you can't.
I mean, a little.
Like,
I got
Boy,
the
he's
feeling
like-
that he almost could, though.
he's
It was
in a-
really
he's like
a
in a-
weird dynamic.
yeah, he's like in a hot tub smoking a hookah, and he's like, you ain't shit.
Yeah, a little bit. It was almost a Isaac Hayes kind of moment.
Yeah, there's so much weird stuff with them. Like, it's just so. When there are those girls, I don't know if they're supposed to be doctors or nurses and they're attending them, but they're wearing like halfway see through medical gowns.
It's
And
with
they're naked underneath.
with like almost bald caps.
Yeah.
They're all this. It's just weird.
And they're just. And he's like in clearly oil. That's what he's laying in. And he's like submerged in it, and he comes out for a minute to be like, Ramon, you need to get shit back on track or I'm going to rip your face off. And then he just like sinks back down into it. It's like, what is that? Like, what
Yes,
is
they're not
happening?
explaining
Who are these people
any
taking
of it.
care
It's
of him?
so
Why are they
ridiculous.
dressed that way? Like, how is he breathing down there?
I really appreciated how this movie sets up this new character that we're introduced to of Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen as the antagonist that soon as you are introduced to this, he's going to be the one that Paul fights.
Yes.
Like there's no the build up to it all makes sense. It's perfectly natural.
And I like the way
so
he looks at certain people and the way he's not bothering to stand behind guards or anything when shit's going down. Like he's on his own and he's paying attention to the things he thinks are worth paying attention to.
Yeah, there's an intensity.
And he's very intrigued by whoever seems to be the strong. He's like Vegeta almost. He's like intrigued by who seems strongest. And and when Paul does the may your blade chip and shatter thing like that, he actually does it back. He doesn't make fun of it. He just kind of smiles like, oh, that's interesting. And he's like, your blade chip and shatter.
Right?
It's like I almost didn't want him to die.
Yes, he was a good character. But that's really where this is leading. There's some things that go on in this, though. So
it's very much a Rob Roy end to that fight too.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, I wrote that down here. When I first watched it, that's exactly
what you thought of. How could you not?
Because it's almost blow for blow the same thing.
Ooh, so good. We know in the first movie that his mother drinks this water of life. You see how it comes about. You'll watch the movie. You'll find out how. Again, it's not get into that much detail. Don't need to. Second movie, Paul has to do it. It's just part of his thing that if you're going to be this, and
the Lee Sen-Guy will survive it.
Right.
Because no man is supposed to be able to survive.
Absolutely. And goes through, does it, and that really sets him in full on prophet mode. He is changed after that happens.
Yeah, because all of a sudden he has access to all this memory, and that's when he knows all of a sudden that his mother is a Harkonnen. Or is descended from Harkonnen.
Yeah, both of them. That her father was Baron Harkonnen. And did Dad know? He's like, I didn't even know till right now.
Yeah.
She's
like, I didn't know until I went through this process too.
You know what? I think that's part of it. So when I talked about Zendaya and how she is in this, how Chani's character is in this, I think maybe that's why I feel that way about her in this. Because compared to Timothée Chalamet's character of Paul Atreides, there's so much more character growth, emoting, ups and downs, different things that I see. You see him happy, smiling, this younger brother aspect to Duncan, having a good time. Oh, let me come with you. I can fight too. Yeah, he's like, oh, that's cute, guy.
He's like, you're all right, boy.
You're all right.
I gotta go. I gotta do some grown up shit.
Right.
To coming down there and leading an army and knowing things about people, which is really cool. I paid more attention to that the second time around, where he's in the middle of that group that we were talking about before, where the leaders are meeting to talk about what they're going to do going forward and who Paul is and all this stuff. And he's like, I know you want to challenge me, but I also know that
he starts naming stuff about
lost this person and you've made this commitment and you have these children at home or whatever.
Right. This happened to your grandmother and it happened when she was 12 and a scar. And
this is where you got your kit knife or your Chris knife, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
and he's able to he's saying the right stuff. He's being provocative enough, and then backing it up. And as he's saying stuff to people about them, they're dropping to their knees. Oh my god, this is really the dude.
I mean, they really buy in. They get into it. They do the whole thing. It's that particular scene when he's taking over. He's coming in and saying, none of you can challenge me. This is, and even his mother's like, whoa, back.
Yeah, he's like, you can fight me, but we need to be fighting them.
Right. And he really does the transformation of a character throughout the course of these two movies. I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen something like that in film. And watched the growth.
Transforming into a forceful, confident person who's not this gentle, nice, compassionate person quite as much as they were.
Yeah.
It's usually you want to transform the other way, but this is more one of the classic episodes of Star Trek that I really like, where I told you before, maybe we've talked about it on here before, where Kirk splits into two. through a transporter accident. One is like the more feminine, kind, emotional part.
Right.
The other part is like the hyper masculine, like hyper aggressive version. But the point of the episode is that you need both parts. Like you cannot command without that aggressive and assertive part of yourself.
Yeah.
Like otherwise you're just too like, well, I don't know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Like,
Can't be indecisive.
the Romulans? Can we do this? And the other one's like, blah, 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 blah. But you need like each one to temper the other.
Yeah, there's the character growth in this. And so when I mean, they're the two that are together throughout the course of this entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it's kind of about, their relationship, and not only his growth, but their, I don't even want to say their growth. They just go through this kind of relationship thing, and it kind of, the way it ends is very interesting. I understand it.
Yeah.
I think it just makes sense for the world in which they've built up.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's like going to take this revenge on the Emperor, who we haven't even brought up the fact that the Emperor is played by the just brilliant,
The inimitable,
the legendary,
the bodacious.
the bodacious Christopher Walken.
Yeah, I just wanted to see him do some walking as I wanted the Baron and them to walk into that throne room or whatever in Arrakis, and someone would be like, I see you coming. I see your nephew too. What happened to his hair, your nephew? It's all right. You can tell me. Like just, but no, he doesn't ham it up. He
It's still him.
has this like distracted way about him where like he understands more than you and is dumbfounded about how we've gotten here.
A little.
You know, he's dumbfounded that the Harkonnens don't know that Paul's alive and that Paul is one of the people doing this.
Mhm.
Like Paul has sent a letter
Yes.
to the Emperor being like, I'm coming for you.
Bring it, bitch.
Yeah. He's like, dance off, bro. And yeah, they don't know. They're like, oh no, he's totally dead. Like they went into the desert. There's no way they survived.
No
Like,
way.
There's nobody even in the southern hemisphere. And he's like, what are you talking about? How
I'm
do you
just going
not
to walk
know
away and
this?
assume it don't want to plan.
Yeah. It's just,
I guess it's those two. So I have Zendaya as Chani, and I wanted them to do more to allow me to like her, and I don't feel they did.
I imagine, given the way it ended, we're going to have more from her in the next one. I think it's going to be, I have a feeling they're setting her up for kind of an adversarial role with
That's what
Paul.
it feels like too.
But they may not. It just may be like a strained partnership after that. Or it may be something that's like an will they, won't they, this might screw up something with I'd say it might screw up something with like an alliance or something. But like Paul doesn't give a shit about Elena.
No, yeah.
He doesn't care.
Nope, not
It's
at all.
just like this is a strategic thing.
Uh-huh.
Like clearly he can have a woman who's not his wife.
Yep.
His father had a concubine, not a wife.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just be like, concubine is common for most beautiful lady in the universe.
In the universe.
It's a
In the
very
universe.
special world.
That's right.
Like, and she'd be like, "You're full of shit," but whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's fine.
And said not read the books. I don't know what comes next,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure there's something out there
it
pulling
could
the
very
hair out,
easily be a situation of woman scorned, and so that could turn into a very big problematic thing for him somehow later on.
Yeah, it could be that. Could be that.
And I'm honestly not sure which way they'll
her name
go.
is. I can't remember it. The princess that she's the one who's upset because she's like, sure, let's do this marriage, but like, oh, you're not wanting to bear any children with me, and you're not. I don't have any power. I don't have any say. Like, I'm going to now work against you because I am also under the thumb of the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, I think her job is to control him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is going to be her job. So I'm like, they didn't do a lot with her character, and
No,
I'm going to
just
be
enough
interested to see where it goes. Because I think she's an okay little actress.
I do.
She was
yeah.
okay in oh my gosh,
Oppenheimer?
yes, thank you.
She was also naked for like half of her screen time in that movie.
It was interesting watching that with my 17-year-old daughter in the theater. That was a moment that I lived through.
Honestly, it was Cillian Murphy naked was so jarring. That was the one. It's like, of course, a man would rather, like a straight man would rather see a woman, but it's like, That was weird. That was he looked way too comfortable. Like he just sitting there smoking a cigarette, like legs crossed. Like
Yeah, it was good.
I've never looked at a hotel chair the same after seeing that movie. Everywhere,
Every
you go,
surface
I assume
has had
Cillian
naked body
Murphy
on it.
has sat on it like that and smoked a cigarette.
I mean, maybe. I want to get into. I mean, we've been in here for a little while, and the thing that I want to talk about the most, we haven't even gotten to yet.
Yeah, I'm looking
And
at
so I
our
wanna-
recording time. We did
Right.
Elba fine.
So there's some things that we've already talked about building up to. Paul drinks water of life. He fully buys into this. He ends up. There's a rebellion that they perpetrate while the Emperor's there and the Harkonnens are there. They come. They kind of take over. You see this final scene between Feyd-Rautha and Paul. All of it's very well done. I like so much about this world, but what I would really like to talk about before we're done, and before I get to that, so we can get into it, but getting to the end of the movie, the things that happen, the fight between Feyd and Paul. Anything else you wanted to get to before we get into this last section?
Yeah, so I guess the only other things that I would mention, I'm looking at my notes, would be that it's still one of those things where I don't understand, like we've been saying, is it real? Is it real?
Is it real, fuckers? Is it real?
That he's really this Messiah, or Chani mixes her tears with the poison
Mhm.
when Lady Jessica tells her to. I don't remember if she used the voice to do it, or if she just. I think she did. I think she used the voice to make her do it because she had the she went like a Winter Soldier for a second.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if that is what saved him and brought him out of it, or what effect that had, or why Jessica knew to do that. If it's something chemical that, he's a male, so he doesn't have progesterone, maybe, and there's progesterone in tears, because men have estrogen, just not very much.
Yeah.
But we don't have progesterone.
Something like that.
I think that's what that is. I don't know.
Could be correct.
Also, looking at my notes, I've been saying Victor Harkonnen. It's Vladimir Harkonnen. Not Victor, but that's the bear's name.
It's good.
Yeah, that's an odd one. But yeah, Paul takes the water of life, which is like venom or something extracted from like
Worm guts or
killed
worm blood,
worm.
something like that.
Yeah, like a
Baby worm. Yeah.
sandworm, which is kind of sad.
It's a very interesting scene when
Yeah.
the lady who does it and gets that. That's interesting, but
Yeah, it's like, how often do you do this? Because she does it very competently and very quickly. Like she's done it every day.
right.
But like presumably this happens whenever a transfer is going on, and the Reverend Mother's like 90 or whatever.
it doesn't seem like
I don't
that
know
happens
how
a
old
lot.
she's supposed to be,
Mhm.
but
Very
doesn't
old.
look very young.
Does
yeah.
not look very young.
But yeah, he takes the water of life, which is supposed to be forbidden to males and lethal to males, goes into
Mhm.
this like comatose state, and he does, I think, say something about the Bene Gesserit being able to like control their metabolism and slow things down and like handle the poison, but he may not be able to because he doesn't have all the same training that they do. But yeah, the implication is that his mind is expanded and he gains the knowledge of his ancestors. And I think in the books it says that the male one that the Bene Gesserit are waiting on will be able to, like, the females can only inherit the memories of females. But what they're waiting on is this one, and one of his attributes is that he will be able to gain the memories of male and female ancestors.
Okay.
So he'll have like twice the knowledge.
All right.
Mind expanded to gain knowledge of ancestors and glimpse the future. I guess in the same way the Navigator Guild or whatever does. Yeah, but that's all I've got.
All right.
This is like the warning. This is the final mission.
Yeah.
Do all the stuff, like upgrade all your shit.
Yeah,
Going back.
do all the stuff. So one of the things that happens in this, we find out through a flash forward who is going to portray in the upcoming movies his sister, the Kwisatz Haderach. It's another one of those names.
Bless you.
Thank you. And they're very vague about whether or not or whom is actually that character. They refer to this Kwisatz Haderach several times, but in the same vein as they say the Lisan al-Gaib, where you don't know who it is, but I feel like it's talking about his sister. But his sister is going to be played by Anya Taylor-Joy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where it's her and she's communicating with him, specifically him, and she talks about "I love you," and that really came across in a certain kind of way, I thought. And I'm like, is this I am your sister and you're my brother and therefore I love you? Or like a
Lannister thing.
Yeah, like a Cersei and Jaime kind of thing. And books haven't read, I don't know what's going to happen. It's one of the reasons I'm super excited about how all this is going to end up playing out, in the fact that we feel like we've barely scratched the surface. Like his sister, who when we see her is a full grown young person, but a full grown young person.
Maybe we should start a new channel, Book Howl.
Book Howl. Oh, whoa, where we release one episode every 6 months.
Book Bellow.
Book Bellow. That's fantastic. We might need to hold on. That might maybe we might have a point.
Trademark, copywritten, registered, whatever.
Done. Don't steal.
Don't steal it.
Don't steal it. So based on the future back, is that how you call those? Not a flashback, a future back, whatever. It's like a Justin Timberlake kind of a.
It's called a flash forward.
Flash forward. There's so much open. Like she hasn't been born yet in the time in which we are watching what's taking place currently, and yet you're seeing her so much farther in the future.
Well, that vision, I don't know if she's projecting what she expects to look like or what she knows she's going to look like, or if this is a vision of the future.
I think it's just a vision from the future, but you're talking years at this point. And so there's so much that could happen in between now and then that I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. The movie.
Yeah, and I know I started to talk about this before. I don't know if I completely finished that thought, but I like that it's not just like the daughter's actually the chosen one. I like that he is worried about his mother and his sister, and they are worried about him. That feels real. They're like, we are all we have. They don't ever say that. But it's like they're separated and doing their own things, but everything they're doing is for each other.
Yes.
Like Jessica wants to protect Paul. The creepy conscious fetus with centuries of memories is wanting to protect her brother. Like she understands who he is to her.
Absolutely.
And like is also worried.
Yeah.
They're like, he's out there trying to protect us. What can we do to help him from here?
This movie's very pro-family.
Yeah.
I like
it's super cool. And I like that the father was noble. He wasn't like a goofball. He wasn't like, there's even a scene where he's like, I have never doubted you. Like I've never.
You've always been everything you ever needed to be. Like that's it. You're my son. You're
I'm talking to Jessica too. He's like, I've never. I don't remember what it is. It's like I've never asked you anything. Like I know that you're part of the Bene Gesserit. I know whatever, but I've always trusted you. Like when he's worried about what's going to happen to the family going forward, but it's like very much like they have this bond, and this is something they don't talk about. He doesn't question what she's doing. He just trusts her.
Yep.
But he's like, I need to know a little bit about what's going on because I think some bad shit's about to go down.
Yeah. And so there's a lot that goes on in this 6 hours, and yet it feels like it's so little of what the potential that is here is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, to recap, okay? Harkonnens have Arrakis. Harkonnens lose Arrakis. Emperor gives Arrakis to Atreides.
Which, how all that even works? How the Emperor just gets to say and do that?
Yeah,
they're doing it fine. No, you're done, and you're out there in. They don't explain any of that
from it. I guess it's like a feudal system where it's like peasants on land owned by a lord. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now we're setting Atreides up so that Harkonnens can knock them down. Then Paul and Jessica find their way to the Fremen and help them start a rebellion.
Or jump into the rebellion that's already been going on.
Rebellion and like help because they have knowledge of the hard.
Exactly. Paul's knowledge is what really helps turn the tide for them.
And then lure the Emperor there and challenge him. And that's it. That's all that happened. In like 6 hours of movie watching, that's all that happened. And I actually want to try to find these on like 4K Blu-ray or whatever to see if there's extended versions, or I'm sure there's tons of deleted scenes.
Probably.
But they're so long the way it is.
Can we get a Snyder cut? A Villanueva cut?
Where it's, 5 hours long or whatever instead of
per movie.
Or like I was thinking Lord of the Rings, like you and I were talking about doing an extended edition marathon where each movie's like, God, the theatrical versions were over 3 hours, I think, right?
5 hours.
I remember I remember watching Return of the King in theaters and breaking my rule of not usually drinking very much soda, but I was like, I got the big soda and I was most of the way done with it. And I was like, I'm going to fucking explode. But it's like, we got to be almost done. Have you seen the pitch meeting for that one?
I probably have. I
Where
don't
it's
know
like-
specifically if I have.
And then, Gollum falls into the thing and the ring melts. It's like, okay, now you're done. And then we go back to the Shire and this happens and that happens. Sam gets married, or no, Sam doesn't get married yet, but Sam and Pippin and Frodo, they're all there. And then Gandalf goes
The
off.
scouring of the Shire, that's right.
Because they have other stuff to do, fade to white. Okay, and then and then we come back and Sam gets married and he has like 15 babies and then they finish the story and they do whatever. And it just keeps going and going. Oh my God, that was the longest thing ever. I was like, I felt like Grandpa Simpson when his kidneys explode because he's in the back of the car and he has to pee so bad. Do you remember that episode?
Yes.
You go to see Dr. Nick and he's just got like these exploded
Hi,
water balloons.
everybody.
He's got these exploded water balloons for kidneys.
God.
That was rough.
Oh,
I went and saw it again.
nice.
I want to watch it, but not hurt.
In comfort, can I just do it and not
Yeah.
be in terrible
They're like, would you
discomfort
like
and
a
pain?
soda? No, thanks. Not this time.
All right, so yeah, we're obviously very excited about this coming up, but this is it. Finally get into everything I've wanted to talk about the whole time.
Oh boy.
So the world that was built up, where they don't talk about anything, there are just these things and the way they interact with the people in the world from the very beginning of the first movie with Paul's floating room light that follows him around. It's this neat Tron-looking almost light.
Yeah.
But they have these shields and they have all this different technology and so much of it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I love the deepness of the world they have created. And some of what you explained to me when we first started to do this, how the original, like the humans from so many centuries and millennium ago had created AI.
Yeah, it was like
bad, there was
10,000
problems.
years or
Mhm.
8,000 years before the events of Dune. There was a rebellion against like AI that had kind of basically what happened today is what happened then. Like people sort of ceding their decision making to machines, and then people eventually rebelling against it, and it became a law.
I guess these humans
do it.
didn't have James Cameron. I don't know.
I mean, they have people now. Like I've seen articles about this, but I was watching some like CBS news thing or whatever, where they were interviewing teachers and they were talking about how some of them are, they're catching them prompting AI to like help them say their name and explain why what they want to get out of this class. And like some of them are like, yeah, like writing is creative and interesting, but I don't want to get anything wrong, so I'm just going to use ChatGPT to do it all. And the essay that they were supposed to be writing was about like the importance of creativity and like taking risks in your writing.
Okay.
You understand the irony of this, right?
Yeah. Wow. So the technology in all of this, I'm trying to, when you watch something like this and you have obviously what is your viewership suspension of disbelief that you're in this world, it's a fantasy world, sci-fi world, that they don't always play by the rules that we think of on a day-to-day basis. And that's all fine. And some of it, they even made mention of it. There was a point when, in the second movie, Feyd-Rautha, who was tasked with taking control of spice production and bringing it back, bringing the Fremen back under their heel, basically, and then getting it back in order. That they go and do something that makes the most sense. They use whatever technology they have, and they don't even say how they find it, but they find a siege, and they just bombard it from the air. And just annihilate everything. And even Stilgar says, oh, they don't even fight honorably man to man. And I wondered that the whole time. How is it? So, taking away the fact of the thing you said with the shields, like the shields were a thing in the beginning movie, kind of a little bit. And then by the second movie, they're just not even a thing at all.
It's just an excuse in the background to fight with swords instead of guns.
Except for, what about the part in the first movie
Where they have
where the
sniper
sandworm's coming, and then the Harkonnens who are there and they're patrolling, and they also, for some reason, have anti-gravitation devices on themselves that can float around whenever they want, yet they don't do it in battle, in which where it would be really, really useful to do something like that, to just be able to jump around nimbly bimbly.
Boop, and just float up to where it can't get you anymore.
Yeah, and then maybe while you're up there, because since they all have swords, you shoot them like fish, meat, barrel. Like, what are we even doing here?
The dumbest thing in the movie is Duncan, Idaho, like I'm gonna buy you time, locking the door with him on the outside of it. What?
Yep.
Why?
And okay,
I mean, I get that it bought them more time because they were starting to cut through the door.
Right.
He didn't know that they were going to be able to do that. I don't think.
Or maybe he did know. I don't know.
Like, are you a better door than the big steel door?
But immediately after he like sacrifices his life, the other Fremen lady's like, "Oh, here, let's escape out the back way."
Yeah.
Why didn't you say what?
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, this is connected to other stations. I'm gonna."
What? So I agree that was one of the things that didn't make sense. But how is it? How do they have sniper rifles at one point? So do the shields stop bullets or not? And they take out all these guys with sniper rifles.
Well,
or at the same time, when they
don't seem to use them, the shields, but also like when they do have guns, the bullets just go, boop, and then they just like drill through the shield somehow.
Except for when it didn't happen.
Except for when
Chani was shooting the rocket at the thing, but they had to time it right to when the
air shield opened up to allow them to
shoot out. And some of the things just didn't make sense. Like, why are they doing this hand-to-hand combat thing when you obviously have the technology? They were taking out these big Harkonnen sand crawlers who were there, like a sniper rifle, but it's like a big, like a rail gun.
Yeah. Yeah,
well, it's like the
kind of laser,
the Tau cannon from Half-Life.
Yes,
and
but they said that those are unshielded. But they said that the shield generators attract worms or whatever,
which is great. But they shot a laser at it. It wasn't like a bullet. Like it was bzzz, like a. And so even though they don't talk about it, like you mentioning how the spice actually helps them with the space travel, but in the movies here, these two, they never say anything about it. They obviously need it.
Yeah, they say like it makes it possible, but not how. Like they could burn it. They could use it for fuel.
Exactly. And we have no idea.
We like that one stupid movie with Anthony Hopkins voicing like an android or whatever, where they have coal-powered spaceships.
I don't. Nope. I'm interested now, but I don't.
I can't remember what it's called.
So yeah, the technology aspect of this.
That was like the one with the sword legs from Kingsman.
Oh my god. So, and how is it that these ornithopters, they have some ships that fly with sans wings and just, they must have Stark repulsor technology that floats them around.
Sure.
But the ornithopters have wings, like dragonfly wings.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting, but then how come when you're talking about different family houses that are like different planets, you're telling me on two separate planets that are in the same universe or whatever, but they both develop the exact same technology for flying that looks basically exactly the same?
I don't know.
How does that work?
A little bit of what I've read so far seems to indicate that certain technologies come from certain planets. It's like, this is the Ford planet. This is what we just met cars here.
Okay, all right.
They all kind of look the same across the universe.
Yeah, some of the...
And there are also some planets that are kind of halfway out of the Empire's control. Like, there is a planet, apparently, that still produces technology, including computers or AI type stuff.
Okay.
But they're, like, on the fringe. They're, Tatooine or wherever, Hoth. Like, they're not someplace where... you're at a lot, but it's something interesting that maybe they'll cover, but it might just be part of like the extended lore of the books.
Yeah, the technology thing I thought was very hit and miss. I didn't really understand this. We're obviously in like laser.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where they want you to take the tech for granted the way you take stuff for granted. Like if you brought somebody from 1,000 years ago here today, and you're just walking around doing like plugging something into the wall, and all of a sudden it's powered. To like, how the fuck does that work? Like, explain that. Or you turn on like running
like
water.
The Dracula movie.
Yeah,
it's just
Or you turn on running water, or you have the white box. Is the fridge the white box?
Has the white box.
Or he's in the box. He's in the fridge. Bob's in the fridge.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be like, and for them it's like, oh, you have this like weird anti-gravity technology, but at the same time they have technology that lets soldiers float or like rappel down really slowly, but they also have to like drag heavy machinery into places. Like you can't just wrap your fuck off little belt around this thing and have one person guide it around because it's floating now.
Yes, it's so.
There's a lot of stuff that's a little weird and inconsistent, but I can let it go.
And you let it go because the world they build is so great. The scenes when they're running around and they're fighting each other, the way the Fremen pop up out of the sand and but there's still this combat that goes back and forth. It's just fun.
Yeah.
All of it's just really fun. It's well written, well acted. Direction is great. Every decision that they make in this almost is so good.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what comes next.
Agreed. So totally a watch. Worth buying on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray, I would think, if you can find it. That's all I got. That's all my gripes.
That is it for sure, Halligan.
Everything. I cannot believe how not distracting Christopher Walken was.
Yeah. I actually don't think he was particularly well cast in this. I think they could have been a lot of other people who would have been a better
that
emperor.
Really stands out to me, but I don't know. Who else would you get? Willem Dafoe?
Oh, maybe. I think there's other people who could have played that character. But you know what? Besides any of that, fantastic. Absolutely a watch. And Halligan's, may your knives chip and shatter. He's been Ryan.
And he's been Joe.
And we're out.
May your camera
Chip and shatter.
overheat and shut down.
Read and shut down.